Thank you, Tret, Fure, for bringing us in the room. I am so excited to see everybody here today. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Daily Antidote of Song. I don't even remember what day this is. There we go, 10:35. Thank you, Christiana in Rockville and Bob in Rockville. So welcome, and Carolyn in Boise. Thank you for your signs. Welcome everybody out there on Facebook Live to the Daily Antidote of Song. For anybody who's new out there, we are here every single day at noon Eastern time, singing one song, having a little chat time, and then singing again together. And we welcome lots and lots of new folks into our community every day, both out there and in the Zoom room here. If you feel like joining us here, you can go to the Daily Antidote of Song page on Carpe Diem Arts, and you can join us here. Let's all give it up for Carpe Diem Arts for making this possible. And I'm Joe Rossi. I'm the director of the program. I want to shout out Aaron Geyer in Brooklyn for running the tech for us today. And of course, shout out our artist, Tret Fure, coming in from, I think, Massachusetts, but now I'm not remembering.
No, it's Fure, and it's Newport News, Virginia.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to start that again. Tret Fure coming in from Virginia. Thank you so much. I knew both those things actually a moment ago. And we're going to say hi to everybody in the room. Super excited to see so many folks and folks still coming in. Susan G in Ohio. Hello. We're so glad you joined us today. Hi to Deborah in Kentucky, who was just in my house a few days ago and got to meet something like 15 of us Daily Antidoters here in the Tacoma Park area. Hello to Pauline in Newcastle, UK, potentially with William over there in the background. Hello to Kathy Mayer, who I saw last night at Munit Mesfin's concert in Virginia. And boy, was that very cool. In fact, I'm going to recommend everybody try and find the live stream and get a ticket to live stream because she was so good. She did a whole night of Roberta Flack, and it was pretty darn cool. Okay, Kim is here from Vancouver, from BC somewhere, and Kim is one of our song leaders. I'm glad you're here today, Kim. Kathleen in Albuquerque, hello. Hi to Luda in Victoria. Hello to Arlene in California. Hi, Bronwyn in Victoria. Hello to Nancy's Irish Cow in Washington State. Hi to Chico and Kathy. That would actually be Kathy and Chico in Colorado, and Carolyn in Boise, and Bob in Rockville, Maryland, with Christiana over there also in Rockville, Maryland. Two of the folks who were in my house just a few days ago. Amanda and Miles in Michigan, thank you for being here. And Sheila in North Florida, thank you for being here. Aloysius, glad you made it today from wherever you are. Phil and Yoshi and the gang over there in Totnes, we're so glad to see you. Hi, Yoshi. Hi, Yoshi. Everybody wave to Yoshi. Yoshi, you're adorable. And Deli in Maryland, hello, nice to see you. Leah in Illinois, glad to have you here. Hi, Bob in Albany. Hello, Nancy in Vermont, haven't seen you in a while, glad you're here. Hello to Hoda in British Columbia, and Curly Top Willard over there in Vermont. Suzanne in Maryland, nice to have you back again. Jackie in Maryland, nice to see you. And we're really glad you joined today. Hi, Fred in Maryland, also was in my house recently. And Annette in California, nice to see you. Bob and the Bears in Massachusetts, hello. Well, I see Bear Free Living over there. Hello to Carol in Connecticut. Jim Harkless, also in my house the other day, nice to see you. And Trish in Victoria, hello. And folks who are off camera, let's see, we have Anne in Nashville, Gary in Massachusetts, Sandy in Western North Carolina, Gay and Isabel in Florida, and Nancy Schimmel and Storm and Lynn in Connecticut. I think I got everybody. Let's all take one big deep breath. Let's all take another deep breath. No, I'm just kidding. I'm so glad that you guys are all here. And Tret, you have a great laugh. So let's see. We have Tret Fure in Texas. No, wait. It's Tret Fure coming in from Virginia. And Tret has been with us a bunch of times. And she's absolutely amazing and lovely. And I love, love, love when you sing with us, Tret. So why don't we just start by you telling us what you have for us today?
Okay, well, I'll talk more about the song after we do it, but this is a song called Monuments, and it is for Black History Month. And the chorus goes like, I'll sing the chorus a couple times because it's not as, I mean, it's singable, but it's not as obviously singable as some of the other stuff I've done. So the chorus goes like this. Tear down the walls, tear down the monuments, to end ignorance is our main pursuit. Take away the hatred, take away the arrogance. Why can't we all focus on truth? Let's do it together. Tear down the walls, tear down the monuments, to end ignorance is our main pursuit. Take away the hatred, take away the arrogance. Why can't we all focus on truth? Okay, we'll start it, the whole song now, and it starts with the chorus. So here we go. Tear down the walls, tear down the monuments. To end ignorance is our main pursuit. Take away the hatred, take away the arrogance. Why can't we all focus on truth? Some say the past is the past, that it's no longer real, that it only opens wounds that have never healed. The result is the same, whether by force or a sleepy driver. We all are complicit in the face of the survivors. Tear down the walls, tear down the monuments. To end ignorance is our main pursuit. Take away the hatred, take away the arrogance. Why can't we all focus on truth? Each generation has questions where they find different ends to make sense of a world on which their life depends. So much goes unsaid when the saying is imperative. How do we find our voice in this ever-changing narrative? Tear down the walls, tear down the monuments. To end ignorance is our main pursuit. Take away the hatred, take away the arrogance. Why can't we all focus on truth? As old as the Civil War, as new as Black Lives Matters, society disrupted, democracy in tatters, celebrated by some and detested by others. And in the end we must remember we're all sisters and brothers. Tear down the walls, tear down the monuments. To end ignorance is our main pursuit. Take away the hatred, take away the arrogance. Why can't we all focus on truth? Why can't we all focus on truth? Thank you.
Whew.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tret, because that was a really, really, really great way for us to be entering into what is here in the U.S. Black History Month. Because I feel like, one of the lines that you said that that really resonated is, it doesn't matter if it's by force or if a sleepy driver, which is to say the end result of the guy asleep at the wheel or the guy who's texting or the guy whatever is the same result, which is potentially hurt and grief for innocent folks. And I thought that was really, really beautiful and captivating. And actually, it reminded me that we had John McCutcheon in the room just a few days ago. And he and the host were talking about Stone Mountain in Georgia, which was actually something that was new to me. I didn't know about it, the largest Confederate monument and things carved in stone like in Mount Rushmore. And John said a really neat line. He says to his kids, death is on your side, because as new generations come up, they will be less tolerant of this kind of thing, and they will be more able to make change when there's less resistance from older, set in our ways kind of generations. And so, yeah, it feels to me like you've wrapped all that and more into this song. So I would love it if you would just talk about, the writing of it and the inspiration and everything.
Sure. Well, I had been wanting to write a song about monuments since Charlottesville, those several years ago. But what inspired me to do this is there's a wonderful DJ in Las Cruces, New Mexico by the name of Ron Cook. and he has an organization called A Still Small Voice for You, and it's a nonprofit fundraising for social justice issues. And during COVID, he decided to host some songwriting competitions to help songwriters in that time, and also to get some new songs out. And so that he called me, or he emailed me the first year, and he said, Tret, I would love for you to write a song. First prize is $500. And I said, let me think about that. So, so right, of course, that's, and the subjects had to be either a song about monuments, Black Lives Matter, or some other social justice issue that was current at the time. So it was the kick in my butt to get this song written, because I live just 2 hours from Charlottesville. And to me, that was the reboot of all the disgusting behavior in the 60s against our black communities. And that, Trump just gave everyone permission to be as hateful and as brutal as he is. And it hasn't stopped. I mean, look at Memphis. Look at what has happened this week in Memphis. And not just Memphis, but everywhere. And it turns out I'm reading more and more about this special force that they've disbanded and all the abuse that they have incurred upon the black community. And just in the time that this little task force was in power. But really, what's encouraging is to see the movement and the removal of a lot of these monuments. Now, of course, like John mentioned, that was carved in stone. That's a hard one to get rid of. But I have seen in our area and up in Charlottesville and Richmond, the removal of these monuments and these statues, and they are being put where they belong, in museums. Because yes, it is part of our culture. It is part of our history. Not our culture, but our history. But they belong in museums, which is where historical things need to be, not in public places, not in our parks, not in our state capitals. So that is one positive thing that is happening, and it is so true. I mean, the younger generations will not tolerate this behavior that we have had to, unfortunately, that we have put up with for far too long. Oh, and by the way, I did win the contest. I'm happy to say.
Woo! Yay, Tret! Yay, $500, and yay,
Yeah,
Tret!
right.
That's really great. Yeah. So it is amazing when you think about it, the distinction between having something in, a public park-like space or having something in a museum where you are entering with the intent to potentially be educated or
Right.
to have a particular experience that you choose to
Mm-hmm.
climb into, and also with the opportunity for so much more context building
Right.
in
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, and it's also like, the funny thing, although it's not funny, about the Confederate flags, most people, like I have talked to Sharon Katz, who is from South Africa. I'm sure you're familiar with Cheryl Katz and the Peace Train. I was at a festival with her, and she thought that the rebel flag was the Confederate flag. And and was going on and on. I said, there's nothing wrong with the Confederate flag. That was the flag of the Confederacy, and that is what's in museums. What you see in the back of pickup trucks and on display everywhere is the rebel flag. And that's a completely different thing. That flag should not be flown at any time or any place.
Yep. I think that is very, very right and very, very true. And, I mean, you were saying, like we've tolerated it. And I feel like it is really indicative of how slow it sometimes actually is to make change, right? And I feel like we see it with this particular issue, and then I think sometimes like it mirrors the issue of sort of women's rights and women's lib. And so, it was the 70s when it was like, okay, we've reached women's lib.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how many years later where women are still facing some of the exact same things
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
were happening then, right? It's not that there aren't many people on board and many people trying to make changes, that change takes a long time to make.
Yeah.
And there
Definitely.
is a cycling through. It doesn't mean we shouldn't all be working harder. So I'm not
No.
dismissing in any
Right.
way what you just said. But, there is some sense of having to balance out the recognition that it's all the work we're doing is making a dent, even
Mm-hmm.
if they're just little dents, and
Yep. One
yeah.
step forward, two step back. It's like the swing of the pendulum has gone back so far. I mean, we're seeing the destruction of women's rights. We're seeing the destruction of abortion rights. We're seeing the what DeSantis is doing, just in terms of erasing culture and erasing trans rights and LGBTQ rights. Everything is like being erased from us all around us. And it's just, yeah, it means we have to work a little harder. We have to make sure that these, pardon me, but these old white men don't, destroy what we have built over the years. That's, yeah.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Tret. Thank you so much. And I was also thinking this has been a space, so we started this project in April of 2020, and it was May of 2020 when George Floyd was murdered, and so we became
Mm,
suddenly a space in which all of the rawness of that experience was a community, like a live, living community, cyber though it may be,
right.
experience. And I was actually thinking and I don't actually know how to pronounce his name because I don't listen to the news, I only read it. So is it Tyra Nichols? Does
Irene.
Tyree Nichols? Um, I was thinking how, to some extent, whatever has happened in these last years has potentially desensitized us again,
Mm, yes.
right? Because we didn't come in here the next morning and all sit in raw, shocked horror. And it's similar to the George Floyd one in that it was, caught on video in such an extensive way. And,
Yeah.
you hear him crying for his mother, and there was so much of the same
Yep.
intensity of it. And, to some extent, we can't carry that level of horror and raw in our day to day and still function, right? And it's finding that balance where we carry
Mm,
it enough to keep
yeah.
all fired up about the work, but
Right.
not so much that it's disabling us from being able to do the work. And so I thought, actually, if it's okay, could we take a moment of silence right
Mm,
now for
yes.
Tyree Nichols,
Yes.
a person that we lost that we never should have lost. So let's just go ahead and take a moment. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
Thank
For
you.
those of them in the room who were here in May of 2020, you might remember for that an entire week, we took what was at that time called 8 minutes and 46 seconds, if I recall,
Uh-huh.
minutes of silence. For an entire week, we did that, and we sat there in that sensation. And man, was it powerful.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
don't need to be in this room to take the moment of silence. So maybe over the course of the day and of the weekend, combine the moments of silence with the moments of thinking, what's the next activism project that we in this room can all decide to do together? And we welcome all of your recommendations. We've got some things up our sleeve that we're working on, but we'd love to hear from you because we need to do more as a community, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're bombarded, unfortunately. I mean, things are happening every day. I don't even know what today's statistic is on the mass shootings in this country already since the beginning of the year, but it's abhorrent and it's egregious. But it is the way it is, and because we're bombarded with social media, we do tend to just like, oh, another one, put your phone down, and go on with your lives. And we do have to find ways that we can make a difference in these terribly dark times.
Yes. And there's the simple way that we talk about you have to vote, but I would say like that's the like absolute lowest bar thing that
Yeah,
we
that's
could, should,
fundamental.
would all be doing, right?
Yeah,
And then it's
yeah.
from there, what are the actual like action steps that we take beyond that? And I know we've done action steps as a, daily Antidote of Song community, but I feel as though we're a little behind and it's maybe time again. And so I always throw out when we're on the subjects of things like racism, Dan Zane's group, Constructive White Conversation, which makes a space for white people to talk about um, our own racism and the things that we are learning as we go, and ways to be better neighbors and better friends and community members to BIPOC people. And so that, if you look online, Constructive White Conversations, those conversations are happening all month, every month, and you can join in one. And they are a learning journey of a way to be better in the world. And so I welcome everyone in the room to join in those, all of us who are not BIPOC. It's a space to try to learn how to be better and not put the weight of the learning on to the very humans who we are trying to be better neighbors to. And so I really do appreciate all of you who have shown up at those things. They've been very, very moving and very powerful. And we will try to be doing some more things in this room as a shared space to be thinking about anti-racist journeys also. So talking to Reggie Harris about a really cool presentation that he does that we're hoping we're going to be able to do in this room in the next few months. So yeah, deep breath. Tret.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing us that very, very beautiful song. And without shifting gears in getting that content out of our heads, can you also add into our heads what it is you are working on so that we know how we can support you and find out more about your projects?
Absolutely. Well, this coming Thursday will be my Valentine's live stream show. I'm still doing live from home shows once a month because I can reach people that I'll never be able to reach on the road. And it's a valuable thing for a lot of people and for me. I love doing it. So Thursday at 8 p.m. on YouTube, and all the information is on my website and on all my Facebook pages, will be my my 2023 Valentine show, because I've done one since COVID started. So join me, because I'll be doing, and love songs doesn't mean they're just going to be Valentine kind of love songs, because I think every song is a love song. And so it'll be an interesting combination of songs that I'll be doing. Also, I am starting my 18th album in April, and I am actively fundraising for my 18th album because independent artists can't do our work without your support. Because as many of you know, we don't make money from sales much anymore. Streaming has taken away our revenue, and the fact that they've taken CD players out of cars and out of computers and everything. We don't have any way other than touring live and doing live stream shows of making a living. So your help is greatly appreciated. If you want to help support my next project, if you go to my website and you go to my news page, and it's tretfure.com, and you go to my news page, which is in the contents at the top, you can find out more about the project and how you might be able to help me. So that's what's coming up. And then, of course, I'll be touring quite a bit this year. I'm trying not to be on the road as much as I used to, because it's getting harder. I'm getting older, but I still love my work. So watch for me on the road somewhere. That's it.
Thank you, Tret. Very beautiful. So just to let you know, when we had John McCutcheon in here the other day, he announced something like his 43rd album. So I'm just going to say, hurry up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, he's a little insane.
Just a tad. I also want to say that, I make comments a lot about how the chat here is like the University of Daily Antidote. And there's so much good stuff in the chat today. But what's really also happening in the chat today has less to do with sort of fact sharing and knowledge sharing, and much more to do with emotional interconnection, which is one thing our chat is also very good at. So I encourage everybody to save that chat and read it after today. And I'm going to do that. And again, and also inviting everybody out there who's watching on Zoom to always join us in here, where you can see a little bit more about what the folks in here are writing and thinking. So, Tret, we're very excited about your upcoming album and all of your great work. And we're looking forward to hopefully singing with you again in here really soon. And maybe hopefully at some point one of our community sings.
Absolutely.
And I think we should sing your whole song again. Are you up for that?
I think we should indeed, yes. Tear down the walls, tear down the monuments. To end ignorance is our main pursuit. Take away the hatred, take away the arrogance. Why can't we all focus on truth? Some say the past is the past, that it's no longer real, that it only opens wounds that have never healed. The result is the same, whether by force or a sleepy driver. We all are complicit in the face of the survivors. Tear down the walls, tear down the monuments. To end ignorance is our main pursuit. Take away the hatred, take away the arrogance. Why can't we all focus on truth? Each generation has questions where they find different ends to make sense of a world on which their life depends. So much goes unsaid when the saying is imperative. How do we find our voice in this ever-changing narrative? Tear down the walls, tear down the monuments. To end ignorance is our main pursuit. Take away the hatred, take away the arrogance. Why can't we all focus on truth? As old as the Civil War, as new as Black Lives Matters, society disrupted, democracy in tatters, celebrated by some and detested by others. But in the end we must remember we're all sisters and brothers. Tear down the walls, tear down the monuments. To end ignorance is our main pursuit. Take away the hatred, take away the arrogance. Why can't we all focus on truth? Why can't we all focus on truth?
Thank you,
Thank
Tret
you.
Fure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing us very, very good thoughts to think throughout our weekend. I do want to shout out two discussions that are going on in the chat. Some of it's just to me, so I'm not sure how much everybody is seeing. But one, and these are neither of them anything I'm proposing that I have any sort of resolution on. I'm putting them out there in case you're missing seeing it. The question as to where those monuments belong, and sort of a thought as to what kinds of monuments to the Holocaust are actually in Germany versus in other places, and how do you create a safe space for folks. And I think all of that is super, super incredible, and I encourage you guys to keep talking about that together. And then also a question as to whether or not Tyre Nichols' killing was exactly a racially motivated killing. And again, another super tricky, I did see something that was very, very thought-provoking in which it said, those policemen, no matter what color of their skin, those policemen never would have done that if Tyre had been a white man. So to that expression, there is certainly a lot to think of. And so I invite everybody to continue to read on monuments and on racial killings and police shootings, and on the places where the things from our culture that are painful to some people can exist, and or do they need to exist? It's all great questions. And I'm so grateful to this room for all of the ways you think these things through, and for the absolute beautiful sensitivity with which you are writing to each other in the chat. And I want to thank everybody on Facebook Live for joining us again today. And can we all please thank Tret again?
Thank you
Tret,
so much
really,
for having me, for bringing
thank
me
you
again.
Love having you as part of this community, even if I can never remember where you live and I can never remember how to pronounce your name. Tret Fure from Illinois. Thank you, Tret. And please do visit Tret's website and check out all of her great stuff. We're going to say goodbye to everybody today. I am actually 100% in the thick of a Pinewoods board meeting today. And so I am going to jump out of this room fast so I can jump back into there. And I appreciate all of you dropping today after we say goodbye to you, so that Erin can go ahead and close the room. We love you all so much. Hugs and love. Let's all say goodbye to Tret. Thank you, Tret, so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Absolutely.
And thank you so much to Susan in Ohio, and Deborah in Kentucky, Pauline, and William. There he is. Everybody wave to William. Hi, William. So happy to see you. And to Kathy Mayer, my Ethiopian dancing partner last night. That was so much fun. And to Kim, coming in from Vancouver, thanks for being here today. Hope you can sing with us again soon. Kathleen in Albuquerque, thank you. Luda in Victoria, thank you. Arlene in California, thank you. Kathy in Colorado, actually also always reminding us to think about the land on which we stand. So I think that's another good thing to just add for your food for thought today while we're taking deep breaths. Carolyn in Boise, Idaho, thanks for being here. Amanda and Miles in Michigan, thank you. Sheila in North Florida, thank you. Yoshi and Phil and the gang. Everybody who wants to be in that room, raise your hand. I want to be in that room. I want to play with Yoshi. All right, Deli in Maryland, thank you. Leah in Illinois, Bob in Albany, thank you. Susan in Seattle, thank you. Hoda in British Columbia, thank you. Jackie in Maryland, thank you so much for being here today. Fred in Maryland, Annette in California, Jim Harkless, or as Arne calls him, Baba Jim Harkless, thank you for being here today. Lots of love. Martha in Oregon, thank you. Kat in Vermont, thank you. Karen in Oregon, thank you. Bob and the Bears in Massachusetts. I see Bear Freely. Oh, there they are. They appeared. Okay, and they got dressed for the occasion. Storm in Massachusetts. Thank you, Sandy. Nice to have you. Also, one of the ones who was in my house dancing to Shruti's beautiful music the other day. Trish in Victoria and Nancy. Thank you. Another one of our singers, songwriters, song leaders. Thanks for being here, Nancy. Kathy DeWitt, another one of our song leaders. Thank you for being here. Diane Weinstein, thanks for being here all the way from Puerto Rico. With a fan going, right? Oh, good grief. We don't need that here. We're like in 0-degree weather over here or something, or it sure feels like it. Curly Tops in Vermont. I see 1, 2, 3 of you. Hello, hello, and hello. Leanna and Willard and Alice May. And that's also goodbye. Anne in Nashville, thank you. Aaron Geyer, thanks for running tech today. Bob and Christiana in Rockville, both in my house the other day. What a treat it was to get to meet all these folks in person for the first time. Julie, thank you so much for being here from Ontario. And let me see who else I have on my screen. Sorry, I can't figure out where I was. Oh, Gary in Massachusetts, thank you. Jamie in Victoria, thank you. And folks off video, Dory and Ollie, Cricket, Carol in Connecticut, Aloysius, Nancy in Washington State with the cow, even if the cow is not visible at this particular moment. Lynn in Connecticut, Gay, and Shari in New Hampshire. Thanks, gang, for spending some of your Saturday with us. Can't wait to see you all tomorrow. We've got lots of Valentine's Day and lots of Black History Month songs all month long, so pop back in as often as you can. Bye again, Facebook.